and what everyone's doing today to raise awareness about our dingoes. In zoos or anywhere really in Australia, dingoes are a forgotten animal. They're not thought of as an Aussie icon really. Everyone always thinks about the koalas and our kangaroos and our wallabies and all our native animals. And while we have enough trouble trying to get support for really cute animals like the koala that everyone loves, there's so much trouble to get the government and different people supporting their conservation. It's even harder to get support for a dingo, an animal that he's a declared pest here in Queensland. So we have to have a special permit to bring him out today to see you. We have to go through quite a complicated process just to bring a native animal outside of the zoo. And this doesn't happen for any other native animal that we have. So it's really silly that the dingo has to have this big cloud of difficulty around them, and they really are misunderstood animals. If you go interstate, in New South Wales and Victoria, they're protected. I think they're now listed as threatened to extinction. So there's complete protection. You can't harm a dingo, you can't do anything wrong to them in New South Wales, Victoria, and you can even go through a process to have them as a pet. Whereas here in Queensland, it's very difficult for us even to keep them in the zoo. All our dingoes, our four are desexed, so we can't even have a breeding program for them here in Queensland. So you can understand across the state border, our dingoes really get treated so wrongly up here, and it's really disappointing for us. And in some areas, if you go down to Tasmania, they have dingoes in the zoos, and they can't even label them as a dingo. It has to be called an Australian wild dog. So there's a lot of strange things happening, and basically what we need is Australia-wide for the dingo to have protection, don't we? Their threats, they have so many, apart from the baiting and the conflict with farmland and what the right process is there, where there's that conflict and issues that arise. But the dingo, Simba here, we've had him since he was 6 weeks old, so he's very habituated to people and noise. He's in no way stressed, and he's being taught this sort of behaviour, and we've got him used to so much so that we can put him in the car and take him off site and do so much with him. But your average dingo, as you know, is very flighty and timid and not going to come up to people. The dogs that do cause the issues and give them such a bad reputation, they're these crossbreeds. So there are so many wild dogs out there today from dog species that we brought into Australia, and those wild dogs are interbreeding with the dingo, and this crossbreed, which isn't a dingo, that's the one that's causing all the trouble and coming up and giving them the really bad reputation. Because they look like a dingo, but they have the nature of a dog where they're bold and they're brave to come up and interact with people or livestock or anything like that. Your normal dingo is very flighty and wouldn't want to come anywhere near people. They just like to do their own thing out there in the wild, and that's what we want them to do. And even today, Simba, he came from the Dingo Discovery Centre down in Victoria. So he's part of a pure line of dingoes, of which there aren't many left today. The biggest threat to a dingo is that they're going to go extinct from all this crossbreeding. So all this crossbreeding keeps happening out there in the wild, and one day soon we won't have any pure dingoes left. So it's really important that our dingoes are allowed to breed, and we do protect what gene pool we have left. So they definitely need a lot of help. Simba comes out all the time. He's our little ambassador dingo. We call him our puppy, but he's 4, so he's not a little boy anymore. And he lives with Sandy at the zoo. So we have a male-female, so he's dominant and he has Sandy. And then adjacent to them we have another 2 dingoes. We have Summer and Simpson. And those dingoes, they haven't had this sort of training. They can't come out and meet people and leave the zoo. Whereas Simba, from the day that he came into our care, it's been all about building his confidence so he can come out and meet people. And as you've seen, if anyone's met him or patted him, getting up close and connecting with them is really, it changes the perception, and that's when you fall in love. I think hopefully that's
That's fantastic. Thank you.